Hello, boys and girls. This is Mr. Velasco. Today we're going to start a brand new module. We are on module 6. Today, boys and girls, I want you to take out your Eureka Math Book B and turn to page 89. 8 tens and 9 ones. Boys and girls, I need you to ask an adult, a mom or a dad, an older brother or an older sister, to time you with this fluency. This test should take 90 seconds. You have 90 seconds to take this test. Please put your video on pause when you have an adult to test you for 90 seconds. Okay, boys and girls, I hope that you tested this page for 90 seconds. Let's go over the answers. If the answer is correct, say yes. Number 1, 6. Number 2, 6. Number 3, 6. Number 4, 6. Number 5, 7. Number 6, 7. Number 7, 8. Number 8, 7. Number 9, 7. Number 10, 6. Number 11, 8. Number 12, 8. Number 13, 6. Number 14, 7. Number 15, 8. Number 16, 9. Number 17, 10. Number 18, 9. Number 19, 9. Number 20, 10. Number 21, 8. Number 22, 9. Number 23, 10. Number 24, 10. Number 25, 8. Number 26, 7. Number 27, 10. Number 28, 9. Number 29, 10. Number 30, 9. Okay, boys and girls, you may or may not have completed this whole sheet. That's okay. All I want you to do is count the number that you finished today. How many problems did you finish today? And how many problems did you finish correctly? So down at the bottom of the page where it says, today I finished blank problems, go ahead and write down how many problems you got correct in this space here. I'm sorry, how many problems you finished, and then how many you finished correctly. Then, boys and girls, I want you to put how many you answered correctly in the star up above. Boys and girls, remember that number because tomorrow we will take another fluency test. Okay? Let's go ahead. Now we're going to move on to a different book. We're going to go now to Eureka Math Book A for Module 6, boys and girls. Let me tell you what page this is in your Eureka Math Book A, Module 6. This, boys and girls, is page 1. Today, boys and girls, we're going to practice tape diagrams. We've done tape diagrams in the past. We're going to read a story or the word problem. Then we're going to draw a tape diagram or a double tape diagram, and we're going to label. Then we're going to write a number sentence and a statement that matches the story. Let's do number 1 together. Number 1 reads, Peter has 3 goats living on his farm. Julio has 9 goats living on his farm. How many more goats does Julio have than Peter? Okay, boys and girls, the first thing we want to do to help us solve the problem is we're going to look for our question. What is the question to this story? Well, the question ends with a question mark, and I'm going to underline the question. I want you to underline the question. How many more goats does Julio have than Peter? That is the question, boys and girls. And when we read this question, now we want to write a statement. We want to change the question into a statement. So the statement is going to be, one of the names of the characters is Julio. So we'll say, Julio, we're going to write a statement. Julio has blank more goats. Oop, I'm going to try and squeeze it down here. Then Peter. Peter is my other character in the story. And now I just changed my question into a statement. And this is what we want to find out. Julio has blank. We want to find out what goes in that blank. Okay, boys and girls? If I'm working too fast, remember you can pause your tape, change your question into a statement, and when you're ready, continue listening and watching the video. Okay, so boys and girls, that was the first thing that we had to do, was change the question into a statement so we know what we're looking for. We're looking for how many more goats does Julio have than Peter? The next thing that we want to do, boys and girls, is we want to write down the names of the characters in the story. So I'll put a P for Peter. He's one of my characters. And my other character is going to be J for Julio. Okay? So, it says in the story some important information. It says here that Peter has 3 goats. So I'm going to make a tape diagram. Okay? To show that Peter has 3 goats. So I'll put a 3 right up here on top. 3 goats. And Julio, well, I'm going to make the same size tape diagram as Peter so that both of them start off the same. But you know what, boys and girls? Julio has more than 3 goats. According to my story, Julio has 9 goats. That means I have to make this tape diagram longer because Julio's going to have more goats than Julio. So I know that this tape diagram for Peter is the same as this tape diagram for Julio, and Julio has 3. How many more would it take Julio to have how many more goats does Julio have than Peter? And Julio has 9 goats. So we know that one tape is 3. We need to find out this part right here. So what I'm going to do, boys and girls, is I'm going to write a number sentence. We know that Julio has 3 plus how many more will it take to get to 9? So you can use that number sentence to help you find the answer. Or, boys and girls, we can use a different number sentence. We can say that Julio has 9 goats, and you can take away the 3 that Peter has. How many more does he need to get as many as Julio? So you can use either number sentence to solve your problem. So you can pound it, or if you already know 3 plus blank equals 9, what would my other tape diagram be? How many more goats does Peter need to catch up to Julio? And the answer should be 6. So 6, I'll put the 6 there, and the question mark here is 6. So that 3 plus 6 equals 9, or 9 minus 3 equals 6. You don't have to write both number sentences, boys and girls. You can just write one number sentence if you want. But it has to be an addition number sentence or a subtraction number sentence. Either one is fine, boys and girls. Let's go on to the next story. Number 2. Willie picked 16 apples in the orchard. Emmy picked 10 apples in the orchard. How many more apples did Willie pick than Emmy? What are we going to do first, boys and girls? Well, the first thing we want to do is find our question. Here's our question. How many more apples did Willie pick than Emmy? That's the question. Now, boys and girls, we want to turn our question into a statement. Excuse me. And my statement is going to read, well, how many more apples did Willie pick than Emmy? So we could say, Willie, let's write our statement. Willie picked blank more than, and I'll write down Emmy's name down here, then Emmy. So there's my statement, boys and girls. Go ahead and write your statement. If I'm working too fast, pause your video, and when you're ready to continue, you can continue the video. Okay, boys and girls, so the first thing we did was find our question, and then we changed our question into a statement. And what we want to know is, how many more did Willie pick? How many more apples did Willie pick than Emmy? Well, let's look for our information. First of all, it says that Willie picked 16 apples. Well, let's look at our characters. We have Willie. So I'll put a W. And my other character is Emmy. And we know from the information in the story that Willie picked 16 apples. Boy, that's a lot of apples. So I'm going to make a long tape. Okay. Now remember, if I make a long tape for Willie, I'm going to make a long tape for Emmy as well. This is what you could call a double tape diagram. Okay. And I know that Willie picked 16 apples. And I also know that Emmy only picked 10. So I'm going to make a line right about here and put the number 10 in here. How many more, this is what I want to find out, how many more apples does Emmy need to get as many as Willie? Okay, so let's see what number sentences we could write. Well, we could write down 10. We can write down 10 plus blank. Here's the question mark. Equals 16. Or we can write a subtraction sentence. We could say 16 minus 10 equals blank. You choose your number sentence, boys and girls. Write the answer on the line for either number sentence. You don't have to do both number sentences. You could just do one number sentence. So I would say I could count on, I could use a number line, but 10 plus 6 equals 16. Or 16 minus 10 equals 6. So my answer was 6. So Willie picked 6 more apples than Emmy. Okay, oh, boys and girls, up here for number 1, I forgot to write my answer. This answer was also 6. Julio picked 6 more apples. I'm sorry, Julio has 6 more goats than Peter. Okay, let's do one more and then we'll move on to our exit ticket. Okay, let's move on with number 3. Do you remember what we need to do first, boys and girls? Well, let's find our question. How many well, let's read the whole statement. Lee collected 13 eggs from the hens in the barn. Ben collected 18 eggs from the hens in the barn. How many fewer eggs did Lee collect than Ben? Well, here's our question. We're going to change this question into a statement. So, how many fewer eggs did Lee collect than Ben? Lee collected, and I don't have to work too hard because all the words are there in the story. Lee collected blank. Fewer eggs okay, Lee collected blank, fewer eggs. So let's see who our characters are. We have Lee, so I'm going to put an L for Lee. And I'm going to put a B for Ben. And then I'm going to make a tape diagram for Lee. And Lee collected 13 eggs. That means I'm going to make a pretty long tape for Lee. And I'm also going to make the same size tape for Ben. And I know that Lee collected 13. And I know that Ben collected 18. And 18 is more. So Ben collected more, so I'm going to make Ben's a little longer. And I know that this first tape diagram that Ben has is also 13. And I want to find out how many more does Ben have than Lee? How many fewer did Lee collect? What does Lee need to catch up to Ben? Okay, let's see what number sentences we can write, boys and girls. Well, we could write down 13, an addition sentence, 13 plus blank equals 18. And you can pound it or use a number line to help you. Or as a subtraction sentence, I can write down 18 minus 13 equals blank. Okay, boys and girls, I'll give you about a minute to write down the answer. Pause your tape. When you have the answer, you could write it on the line. Okay, boys and girls, thank you for starting your tape again. So my correct answer, 13 plus 5. 5. Lee collected 5 fewer eggs than Ben. 13 plus 5 is 18, or 18 minus 13 is 5. Okay, so Lee collected 5 fewer eggs. Now you can do number 4 for practice. You can pause your tape and practice on number 4. I'm not going to correct number 4 because we're going to move on to our exit ticket. But if you want to practice number 4, pause your tape, your video, and when you're ready, you can continue. Okay, boys and girls, let's do the exit ticket. So let's read our story first. Anton drove around the racetrack 12 times during the race. Rose drove around the racetrack 5 more times than Anton. How many times did Rose go around the racetrack? Okay, boys and girls, I want you to draw your tape diagrams. I want you to first change your question into a statement, and then you can draw your tape diagrams. Make sure you write down the names of the characters of your story, so you can pause your videotape. When you're ready to continue to check your work, you may start your video. Okay, boys and girls, this was a very challenging problem, but I know that you can do it. Let's do our best. Okay, first of all, Anton drove around the racetrack 12 times during the race. Rose drove around the racetrack 5 more times than Anton. How many times did Rose go around the racetrack? Well, here is my question. How many times did Rose go around the racetrack? Okay, so now I want to change that into a statement. Rose went around, and I don't have to work hard for all of these words to spell because they're all in your story. So Rose went around the racetrack. Racetrack is a compound word, 2 little words, race and track. Ooh, I'm going to squeeze it in. Racetrack, make this R a little better. Racetrack, blank, more times. Okay, so this is my statement. So the first thing I want to do, boys and girls, remember we're going to write down the characters. We have A for Anton. We have R for Rose. And first we'll make Anton's tape diagram. Anton's tape diagram is 12. Okay, so that means for Rose, we're going to also make that tape diagram the same size. Okay. And not only did Rose have the same size, but now she did 5 more times. So I'm going to put 5 more times. Okay. So, if this top part here was 12, then this bottom part there should also be 12. So what number sentence can you write? Well, 12 plus 5 equals blank. Or you can write down blank take away 12 equals 5. What was your answer, boys and girls? 12 plus 5 equals, you can use a number line or you can pound it. 12 plus 5 is 17. Or you could say 17 minus 12 equals 5. So, Rose went around the racetrack how many more times? How many times did Rose went around the racetrack? I'm sorry, not this word, not more times, but Rose went around the racetrack 17 times. We didn't need this word more. Let me erase that. But Rose went around the racetrack 17 times. Okay, boys and girls, check your work. Give yourself a happy face. Okay, great job, boys and girls. Now you can go on to happy numbers. Okay, boys and girls, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.